Representations found in my outside broadcast. The first representations I will describe is gender. At the anti-cuts demonstration, I interviewed a male, Mr. Adam Hemsley, and the automatic representations found of men is that they are very strong, masculine and traditional. The male that I interviewed is a countertype as he conforms towards these stereotypes, as he is protesting for his rights, highlighting his strength and power, especially over women. However, there were many women at the protest, which highlights that women also have freedom and independence when fighting for their rights. Also, the second representations I will talk to you about is class. Many of the protesters were from a working class background, and the automatic representations of the working class is that they are usually portrayed of exercising their rights as they are affected by things mostly. And also the idea that the working class like to come together and highlights their strength and unity and their fighting spirit. The third representation is regional identity. The idea that Britain is based around democracy and how the British public are part of this democratic country highlights that they like to seize every opportunity to protest for their rights. Some examples are the educational maintenance allowance and the tuition fees that we had during the past years. The idea that protesting has become part of the British culture. Also, fourth representation is age. The person I interviewed was of middle-aged, and this highlights that the older generation are more likely to be educated in political matters and are more likely to take action when it affects them the most. Hence, at the march, there were not many young people present. Representations found in my interview. The first representation I will talk to you about is ethnicity. Our interview was based on the youth and job opportunities, which Hannah interviewed Miss Alicia Coke, who is a leading work experience coordinator. She is a middle-aged black woman. She is well educated and well spoken, and therefore she is an archetype, as she does not conform towards the stereotype of Afro-Caribbeans, as Afro-Caribbeans are associated with gang culture and often being violent and aggressive, and also the idea that they lack education. However, Miss Cook is very affluent and you could say has a very successful career. There are also representations of the youth, as a young caller calls in and how she is struggling to find jobs. The youth are a countertype, as they are represented of being very financially unstable and dependent on others, and therefore are very pressurised in finding a job. Also, there is a negative view of the youth, as they are associated with violence, and therefore you could say have a bad reputation and find it much harder to get jobs. Representations found in my Vox Pop. The first representation I will talk to you about is disability. The Vox Pop was a story about the Olympic and Paralympic Games and how the Paralympics contributed in getting Great Britain many medals. The Paralympic athletes are a countertype, as people with a disability are not seen of playing an active role in society. They are seen as being incapable and codependent on others, and the fact that they were participating in the Olympic highlights that their spirit and can-do attitude. The second representation I'll talk to you about is regional identity. The idea that the Games highlighted the British spirit, and the idea that the whole country was supporting the Games and taking part in this event highlights British culture. Representations found in my report. The representation I will talk to you about is ethnicity. The £1 Fishman, which was part of our entertainment segment in our newscast, is from an Asian background, and Asians, especially in the Middle East, are very known for their cultural background, as they like to express themselves through interpretive dance and song, and therefore the fishmonger likes to sing about his fish and brings a positive attitude towards life. However, the fishmonger also subverts towards the stereotype of Asians, as he seems to be the underdog of society. He's not as advantaged as other ethnicities such as the white English, but he seems to suppress all the above and brings a positive attitude and spirit to life.